And I'm Casey Biddy, and retirement is certainly a journey, one you should not have to go on alone. And that is why we turn to Sean Mason every week here on Mason Street Retirement Insights. He is the founder of Mason Street Wealth Management, and he is here today to chat with us all about the latest retirement worries and headlines. Sean, how we doing this weekend?
We're doing so good. We're having a good time. So happy all the listeners are with us. I did want to, last weekend, I went to, for a first time in a few years, we had been strong supporters of Fresno State football for years, and then kind of fell off the last couple years. And we're invited to a tailgate through the bank, Fresno First Bank that we work with. We went, and I'll tell you, it was so much fun. There's so many people, so many different tailgaters out there. Everybody's asking you to come up and, have a hot dog or a soda or whatever it is. I strongly urge everybody, go out to those tailgates, go to the Fresno State football game. It's a heck of a lot of fun.
Sean, I'm glad you had a good time, but remember your Fresno State Bulldogs beat my Georgia Southern Eagles opening weekend, and you and I have been fighting ever since.
I do remember. I'm very proud of them. And I'm sorry, Casey, but, it is what it is.
All right. Well, I won't let it get in the way of our friendship. All right. We got much to discuss on the show today, Sean. I'm excited to get into it with you. A recent survey by the AARP found that 88% of Americans over age 50 say Social Security is important for a financially secure retirement. One of them is Marilyn Jones. She's a retired 87-year-old grandmother who lives in Las Vegas. Let's take a listen.
Social Security became something that I relied on. I have a small savings account and I have a very small stock portfolio. I think that's too glamorous to call it a portfolio. Social Security has helped me a lot. Almost $1,800 of my Social Security goes for utilities. People my age look forward to the years when you can retire and you've paid into this fund that's supposed to take care of you in later years.
Now, of course, Social Security is an extremely important income stream in retirement. So my question for you, Sean, is can it be paired with another type of income stream that complements a client's needs and their lifestyle?
Yeah, Casey, it's such an important topic because it really gets to the root of what we're all trying to accomplish in retirement, which is to get the most spendable income out of our resources. Key word being spendable. And yes, Social Security, of course, is one of those resources, but we want to get the most number of spendable dollars out of our resources throughout our lifetime and do it in a way that gives us peace of mind and some certainty that our lifestyle will be what we expected. And for most of us, that lifestyle is going to require more income than what Social Security will provide. Some people have a pension that will provide some of that additional income, but most of us will need to rely on savings to make up the difference. And so your question is key. How do you get that additional income out of your savings, making sure it doesn't run out? It depends heavily on your risk tolerance. You can rely on the market, using interest from bonds, dividends, or growth from stocks. But many of us want more certainty when it comes to the core expenses and lifestyle. There are insurance companies that offer guaranteed income structures that allow us to design an income strategy tailored to a family's specific needs. Maybe we need to cover income before Social Security is available. Somebody wants to retire before age 62, or maybe we need to create an income source that supplements Social Security benefits. Often tax strategies can determine the type of income structure we use as well. You should always consider market volatility in income planning. We never want to take withdrawals from an account that has gone down. So having money positioned to replace those withdrawals until market recovers is really a good thing.
Retirement is not just about crunching those numbers. It's about enjoying the freedom to live your life the way that you've always dreamed you want to in retirement, whether that means you're picking up a new hobby or you're spending more time with your family or maybe you're traveling. Just thinking about these possibilities, Sean, for a lot of retirees is exciting. So on that note, can you share a story about someone who successfully combined Social Security with another income stream to fit their retirement goals, maybe to help them with travel or helping them support their grandkids, something like that?
Yeah, and there's so many examples. Jared and Alicia, they asked us to create a comprehensive financial retirement plan that included income strategies. They're both 65 and they wanted to retire at 60. By running our Social Security maximization report, we determined Alicia should start her benefit at age 62 and Jarrett would start his at age 68. And we positioned a portion of their retirement savings to guarantee the income they would need until both of those Social Security benefits kicked in. And then on top, we positioned another guaranteed income source that would start at Jared's age 68 to supplement their Social Security benefits. And that was tax-free for the rest of their life. And Casey, a concept to consider here is by structuring guaranteed income needed for their expenses and lifestyle, we were able to invest the rest of their savings for long-term growth that could be used for long-term health care or any additional expenses that might come up along the way, or that would also serve as a legacy for the kids and grandkids. This advanced planning gave Jared and Alicia that peace of mind and certainty that their lifestyle would be what they expected. So I want to extend an invitation to all of you, our listeners, for our first 5 callers. So you want to do this right now, because for our first 5 callers, we're going to provide you with your own individual financial planning assessment, taxes, that income planning we've been discussing, investment strategies, those elements you have to be considering for retirement. And we're going to do all this with no charge because it's that important. So give our team a call at 559-847-0039 and schedule your own financial planning assessment. Again, that number is 559-847-0039.
You do not want to miss out on this opportunity that Sean is offering you today. And I want to emphasize again, there is no commitment here. There's no obligation. This is just a conversation, but spots will fill up. So go ahead, dial 559-847-0039. We will find you a spot on the calendar for you to sit down with Sean and get those answers that you've been looking for. That number for you again, it's 559-847-0039. Or, of course, you can connect with us online anytime. We are at Mason Street, retirementinsights.com. All right, Sean, when we talk about the risks of retirement, we're usually referring to the outside forces that can eat away at your money. Those include market risks, longevity risk, health risk, and some others. Now, there's another risk that MarketWatch.com says should be on your radar today, and that is political risk. This involves the changing of retirement laws and taxes. Now, recently, Congress eliminated the stretch IRA and a Social Security strategy called File and Suspend. Today, the headlines talk about how Social Security could cut back your benefits and that the Roth IRA could be in danger. So I wanted to talk to you about this, Sean. Is political risk more of an issue today than it has been in the past? And how are you dealing with this with your clients?
Yeah, Kate, it's interesting you bring this up. I was talking with Josh and Carol the other day, who we've been working with for several years, but we were talking about how much there is to navigate when in retirement, and they're so thankful they have a plan that accounts for it all. Political and legislative risk is a part of it, and it definitely seems like it could be more of an issue today than in the past. There's a lot going on for sure. And Casey, I should note that people don't hire me for my political opinions. They expect me to have a gauge on policy and how it could affect their money. Right. So that's what's important to them. One piece of the puzzle is always affecting another piece of the puzzle. And so just to connect the dots, income, what drives lifestyle. Tax strategy and investment strategy are the main components of income planning. And the political and legislative landscape can significantly affect tax law and investment performance. In fact, we watched the market indices plummet 25% in 2022, with many, if not most, analysts attributing it, at least in part, to monetary policy and geopolitics. Quantitative easing through 2021, the Feds being late in their response, thinking inflation was transitory. And then geopolitically, the Russian-Ukraine war causing disruption to global markets, that's all an example of political risk. And then we just went through an election that had a huge tax ramification. And just to put it into perspective, the Ways and Means Committee projects a middle-class average tax savings of over $3,700 in 2026. That number is bigger in high tax states like California, and this was all due to that tax bill passed this year. This is another example of legislative risk. If the election would have gone the other way, most likely we'd have seen an increase in taxes. So politics have an effect on lifestyle, especially in retirement.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like every day there's a new headline about retirement. Some are encouraging, but others can make you wonder if the rules tomorrow are going to look anything like today. So I think it's easy for folks to feel a little bit overwhelmed. So, Sean, for people planning for retirement or maybe they're already enjoying it, what do you think are the most important things that they should be keeping an eye on right now?
Yeah, Casey, usually the stress is caused by the unknown. It's the not knowing how these changes will affect your individual situation that is the problem. It's not necessarily the risk itself. The good news is there's an easy fix. First, figure out how these changes will affect you, and then decide if you can live with those consequences or if you need to implement some strategies to ease those consequences. This is why comprehensive planning is so important. It allows you to stress test these concerns so you know the effects, and then you can create solutions if necessary. This is how you get that peace of mind and that certainty that your lifestyle will be as you expected.
Look, we know politics can be messy, and sometimes that mess trickles right on down into your retirement plan. So if you are wondering how changes in Washington might affect your income, your investments, or even your healthcare, Sean and his team, they've got your back. So give us a call. 559-847-0039 is how you can reach us. And don't forget, those first 5 callers today get that complimentary retirement planning assessment with Sean. Again, that number is 559-847-0039. Sean is eager to see how he can help you, but spots are limited. So make sure you dial 559-847-0039. Or if you are more of a clicker than a dialer, head to MasonStreetRetirementInsights.com and get connected with us that way. That is going to do it for us this week here on Mason Street Retirement Insights. As always, thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back next week, same time, same place, with more great insight from Sean Mason, president of Mason Street Wealth Management. Take care.
Mason Street Wealth Management, MSWM, is a registered investment advisor, and the opinions expressed by MSWM on this show are their own and do not reflect the opinions of Motivate Investments. Registration is not an endorsement by securities regulators. Investment advisory services are offered through Motivate Investments, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. The information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as recommendations appropriate for any individual. Listeners are encouraged to seek advice from a qualified tax, legal, or investment advisor to determine whether any information presented may be suitable for their specific situation. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities. Offered through Sean A. Mason, California, insurance license number 0B54860. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Motivate Investments. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. MSWM is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if MSWM is licensed in your state, please call 559-892-0002.